Welcome to the real journey of the entrepreneur. The journey of any entrepreneur begins with a decision, then writing down your vision, then the execution of that vision. It is not for the faint of heart. It is for those who understand how powerful your mind is and that you can truly create the life that you deserve. It does require a unique formula that includes belief in yourself, a lot of consistency, connecting with an OG, a lot of tears, missing out on a few events and things, and taking a whole lot of risks that will allow you to see your vision and dream come to pass. This journey of the entrepreneur is from the perspective of a wonderful mother, a business owner, whose goal is to break generational barriers and normalize the process of wealth building and financial wellness through entrepreneurship, all while creating a social and give back along the way. I am sharing this journey with you and invite you to share this process with me. Let's do this together. It's my own, but you have to feel comfortable to own it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I will always support you.
Thank you.
Well, hello there, beautiful people. Hey there. Hey there, beautiful people. I hope that you are doing wonderful and amazing and awesome in the spaces that you are entering in. I hope that you are leaving a fragrance in every space that you go into. Welcome to the real journey of the entrepreneurship. My name is Anita Pierce, and I am the founder and CEO of 11375. I'm also the host and producer of this show that tries and aims to provide business resources and solutions to all entrepreneurs and just in general to maintain and gain success throughout their journey. One of the things that I can say that in this space, on this show in particular, that I love to interview courageous entrepreneurs who are willing to share their truth, because I can tell you that on certain phases within this space that I was caught up into what entrepreneurship and the perception of it was supposed to look like. I was measuring myself against folks that, one, I didn't know and didn't know that their success was true. But what I did discover is that my success and my journey, and also the entrepreneurs that I interview, we share a real, intentional, and consistent way that we keep growing our business. And we have conversations what it really looks like when you have changes within your business, when you don't get paid on time, when you have your website go down, or when you're not making sales consistently. What do? You don't measure yourself up against things that you don't know whether they're real or not, but you measure yourself up against your consistency and success that you define within your business. And so, welcome to the journey. We are here to encourage you and let you know that each day, each hour that you're in this space, after you've made the decision to step into it, it's a process. And my process is continuing. So if you've been watching this show over the past few weeks, you've seen a number of phenomenal and dope entrepreneurs. And let me just tell you that they are and I are connected through a single space where we entered in for 14 weeks of the unknown. And that unknown was very scary. For some of us, it caused us a lot of tears. I was one of them. But it also pushed us to the point where we now know that we're going to be making deep waves over the next couple of years within our businesses. So watch out for cohort 40 XL, the Goldman Sachs 10,000 small business programs. I know there are other cohorts. It was 39 others before us, but XL is the one. And so I want to bring on my colleague and dear friend that is awesome in terms of being the dopest professional organizer that I know. And the work that Shannon and her team is engaged in is something that I know that I didn't need. So we're going to unpack that. Shannon is the co-founder, founder of Tidiness. And when I tell you that Shannon was one of the leaders that inspired us within this cohort and still is continuing to make waves, I'm not doing her justice. So Shannon is going to come to the table and teach us all entrepreneurs how we could become better, learn how to declutter, because I know I need that. And I'm sure you need that. And Shannon is going to help us really talk about more about her experience and how to make us all better in this space. So, hey there, Shannon.
Hello, my dear Anita.
How
How
are
are
you?
you? I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. That was a lovely, lovely intro.
Thank you.
And cohort 40 is by far the best.
See, told you. We
Mm-hmm.
we not gonna back down from that. So, um,
Mm-hmm.
welcome Shannon to the Real
Thank
Journey of
you.
Entrepreneurship. I am so excited to do a deeper dive into what it is you do. So, I don't want to say the boring stuff, but it is important. Tell the audience who you are. Like, what are you engaged in now? Tell us.
Okay. My name is Shannon. I live in South Salem, New York, north of the city. I did co-start I started I started Tiny Nest with my life partner Jared in 2019. So we're 5 years old. Yay, we made it. Um, and we are professional organizers, but we're also relocation managers
Mm,
and home managers. So we're the obvious things that people think of, professional organizers are, we'll go in and make the pantry look beautiful, or your closet is all color coded.
mm,
But we also work with people when they're transitioning into different homes or different environments, different stages in their lives, whether they're actually moving homes or there's a new baby arriving or their kids are going off to college, and we will just get their home and their environment and their mind ready for that. Um, and then also we have a handful of clients that have multiple homes. So if they're in one home in Florida and their home in New York is unattended, we make sure that it's in perfect condition, and we go back and forth and check on it as if it's our own home. So we're really doing a lot for people's homes. It's not just the professional organizing piece, but that's how we started. And it's amazing to see how this business evolved from just going into a home and doing a cute pantry with the little decanted jars and the labels to managing estates and full relocations both nationally and internationally. I love it.
So, so I'm going to, for those who are watching this in video format, you can check us out on 11375 on YouTube and also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So I want to share the website of Tidiness, and I'm going to share it primarily because when I looked at the website, and this was a while back while we were in on the cohort, I said to myself, damn, I wish my closet looked like. First of all, I wish my closet was that big. But then it also made me think about the type of things that I would have to put into the home to fill the space, which I don't know if I really want to do that at this stage of my personal life, right? So Shannon, I want to ask a couple of questions as it relates to um the work that you are engaged in. So yes, you are helping us to declutter and you're managing and you're doing all these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um do start with the process of, first of all, you started in 2019, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I go comma, and then we all know it was a
Mm-hmm.
global crisis where we were left to figure out this thing. How did you manage You started your business, you're like, yup, I'm about to do this. I don't have
Hmm.
all the blueprint yet, but I know that I'm going to do this thing. And then you got hit with, like us all, this thing that put a temporary pause, maybe not, on your business. You want to just describe what that experience was for you?
Sure, we had a very different experience. I'm super thankful. I know I don't mean it like I'm thankful for the pandemic. I'm thankful for how we handled um, what we were dealt with. But we ended up shifting our entire business. And so we would start working in businesses, in restaurants specifically, that were closed. So we were able to organize their catering closet or basement, or just the simple structure of the restaurant, because no one was in it. And there was finally a moment that the restaurant was peaceful and closed and calm, that we could get in there and really take it apart and reformat it. So that was huge, because when we started, I only thought we would do residential. I never thought businesses, specifically restaurants, would be in my wheelhouse.
Mm.
And then, because everyone was home, their spaces were working so hard for them. So if we all have smaller spaces here, and in New York, that is.
Mm.
And so this one office here that I'm in also became my yoga studio, or a guest bedroom. And people's basements would then become a gym and a playroom and an office and this. And we really had to go in carefully, masked up and all the things, and transform these spaces to do double duty, triple duty, quadruple duty. And it was super challenging, but it was a great challenge, and it was helpful to see how impactful um, our work was for people that were at home. And we were all nervous and had no idea what was happening, but we were able to bring some kind of like calm zen order to their spaces, which I think helped mentally. uh, all of us really, we all benefited from that. But we were very lucky to have a lot of work, and I also had a lot of downtime, which I never had before. And I really was able to you know ground myself and practice yoga, which I never get to do, and really take care of myself for at least those first 6 months. Then it all went downhill.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it's
But
interesting. It's interesting that you made this statement about how your business was able to transition. Um, I can likewise say that my business grew substantially as a result of me not always being prepared. And I'm gonna say that because a lot of times you see an opportunity. Some people always say you gotta be ready to get rid, like all these slangs. And a lot of times you'll see an opportunity and you're partially ready. But once you get a bit of cadence, you can then fulfill and continue to grow based upon entering into that opportunity. It sounds like what you did. Um, and I appreciate, and had like known you, I know you now, but it's like really interesting how there is alignment in terms of, you know, meeting people when you need to meet people. So I'm gonna also say this, and it's something that you said in your last statement about, organizing space, but it helps us mentally, right?
mhm, right.
So what I didn't realize is that, so I have my island in my kitchen that I am going through papers, like actually reading them. Do I need this? But it's causing me so much frustration, so much like, I gotta deal with this thing. You have to deal with it. Would you be able to describe, in your experience, um, you know, what having a decluttered space, just from your experience, what does that do for everyone? The entrepreneur, but just
Hmm.
everyone. What does that, from your experience?
First thing I always say is when you have a decluttered space, and that is totally different for everyone, right? I'm obviously a professional organizer. I have stacks of paper. So I'm not saying you need to live a minimalism life. Let's just start there.
Right.
But when you have reached this space that feels okay, this feels good, I think you'll immediately feel less stress.
Mm.
You will have clarity. You you will be able to see, right? You'll see the empty space, but you'll feel clarity in your mind, and you'll be able to focus on whatever it is, whether you're cooking dinner in your kitchen and you see a lovely clear island, or you're at your desk and you can finally get that proposal done because there's not stacks of bills and unopened mail and things everywhere. I find that you regain time because
Mm.
you're not looking for things, or you're not um what am I trying to say? You're not paralyzed because you don't know where to start, and like, I need to clear off this space in order to work. You regain time, which is, I mean, amazing, because we can't go by that. um I also feel like you can make decisions so much faster. It's just, and this applies to any space that you declutter or create the space that feels calming to you. um you just it's over The emotional well-being overall is just amazing and not discussed enough.
Mhm. So, as a follow up, right? How do you build trust for those who may be hesitant to hire you to do the,
Hmm.
because I looked at your, I'm gonna bring up your services page, right? Let me
Uh-oh.
just share that. No, it's all good. Um, it really is, because it gives an additional perspective as to the services that you offer. A lot of us are not aware that these things exist, Shannon. And so,
Mm, right.
a number of different services that you offer: editing, organizing, preparing to move, as you mentioned, moving in, unpacking, training, maintenance, decluttering, inventory, depapering. But I'm also going to add, as a consultant as well.
Mm,
To consult and help us to become better. Now, my question is the trust, right? Because you are entering into um, people's sacred space where they may have, like, underwear around, or, like,
right.
stuff
we've
around that's like weird. Like, how do you
we've
build,
seen it all.
I'm sure, how do you build trust to just at least get people to say, all right, I know I need this, then I know I need this help. Like, what does that process look like for client engagement for you?
Well, first, I think the most important thing is we come in and we truly are. It's a judgment free zone, and I think right out of the gates, we make that very clear. We all have those. I don't know if you're a fan of Friends, but you know how Monica she's like the neat freak, but has a closet that is like no one can ever go into it, and you open it and all these things fly out. Well, we all have that. And I also am very upfront about it. If you go into my garage, be like, "You're a professional organizer? Are you kidding me? No way." But it's real life. And I think that that's just important to get out of the gates. Like, I also have a space that is not ideal for my life and my environment and my brain, and I appreciate that, and I actually hire our team members to help me take care of my space because it's not something that is easy to do on your own.
Right.
even as a professional, I have one of our team members do my closet with me, and I'm a terrible client. But I've been in that I've been in that role, and I think it makes me a better organizer
Mm.
because I've been there and I've said all the things that I have to keep this because it was too expensive, or my mom gave it to me, or I wore this at my sweet 16 and I still fit into. And like I have all the reasons to keep things that clients say to me, and I'm like, okay, let's work through this. So I've been on both sides, and I think that I try to make that as clear as possible so that you know that I'm not coming in being like, oh God, this is disgusting and terrible, and pick this up, and there should be nothing on your desk. That's just not who we are. I know a lot of organizers do it for Instagram. You see all of that those amazing images of the rainbow colored bookshelf. I mean, yes, I have one, but it works for me. Or like the decanted pantries. Like, we also say we're not here to make your place look Instagram worthy. We are going to create systems that make sense for you. They're personalized systems that really make sense for your household, your day to day. Some people just don't have the interest, time, ability to decant their spices in cute little jars with little labels. That's okay. There's no judgment. We're going to create a system that makes sense for you. And I hope that I make that clear in all that we do, and so that clients can really trust us, because we are, like what you said, we are touching their most sacred items. We're in their environment. We're listening to so many stories. You might pick up like a paper clip that has a little dog on it, and you think it's just a paper clip, but now we're going into a 2-hour story on the paper clip that's shaped like a dog because blah 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 blah. And it's it's a lot, and I hope that I make people feel comfortable sharing and trusting me with their items and this process. It's a very difficult process, and I hope I
So
don't
so
know.
I'm going to do a follow-up, right? So um I'm going to use me as an example. I have transitioned in my life through a number of different careers and phases. I am now a mom who still happens to love heels, but I'm not really going in like date night, or whatever. I'm just it's just not I'm not walking around in them.
Mm-hmm.
So I can tell you that that's no longer a purchase. The thing that I purchased is just whatever I have is what I have. But
Okay.
I also know, and I think it's funny that you mentioned about, I have clothes from when I worked in financial services. I am 15 years removed. And I will say it, and I still have the suits
Mm-hmm.
that I am not a size 8. I am not a size 10, but I still have the suits.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I still have the suits and the heels, Shannon.
That's okay. Here's my question: do you have room for them?
I do have room for them, and but it's like it's I
Okay. Here's my next question: is there, so I would say, if we're working through all of this, of course the first question is, do you if you have the room and they're sentimental and you want to keep it, great, but as long as you have the room. If you don't have the room, let's talk about that. I would say, is there one suit that speaks to you? You look at it and you're like, oh yeah, that's my power suit. I used to wear that and I would close every deal, or whatever it is. Let's keep that one suit. Okay. The rest you don't need, but here's what I find helpful.
okay.
If you know, so a big piece of what we do is when we are editing and we have piles and bags and all these things that you no longer want, the landfill is our very, very, very last stop. Of
Okay.
course, some things need to go to the landfill, a
Okay.
mattress, whatever it is. Like, there's some stuff we just can't donate, but we have built an amazing network in Fairfield and Westchester counties. We work directly with charities, but also with families that are in need. And as soon as, and I do this for myself, because it's funny you say about the corporate suits, because I just had our lovely, one of our lovely organizers come do my closet. I had a corporate life back many years ago. I had a closet full of terrible Ann Taylor loft, all that stuff. And I finally had our lovely Jess come over and help me get rid of it. And I could get rid of it because we donated it all to Dress for Success.
Holy smoke.
And that immediately, as soon as we say that, or if we're going through childhood books are incredibly hard to part with. But I can tell you that we work with a lovely network of families that have kids at all different ages. So we start the books at the whatever appropriate age, and they pass it down throughout the community. And then when everyone has read these books, it goes to the local nursery school. When we tell these stories, people are like, "Here, take my shirt. It's on my back. Take it. I don't need it." And I think that is it's very easy to, and I shouldn't say very, it is much easier to part with your items, knowing that they will go to someone in need, especially those suits, because there are so many organizations that, like Dress for Success, that help people, women, go on interviews wearing outfits that, they might not have been able to acquire on their own.
So you just essentially answered my next questions, which is about, your social impact, but you explained it through my situation about how you are engaging in an economy of creating impact at a deeper level. And I love to hear business owners thinking about what is it that they can do within their community to help to support an individual in this need, because I always say we don't live on Mars, so we are on Earth. It does rotate around
Mm-hmm.
this in a circle, so things eventually will come back to you. But I love to hear things like that, and we will talk offline, about how talk here, but also me thinking through about how I can hire your team to help me to get those suits out or others. So I really love that. That just I'm a big fan, but that just
Yeah.
very on top. And the other thing that you mentioned, Shannon, was about, this, you use the word editing, um,
Mm,
which I'm like, editing. I'm like, do I got some slides or something that needs to be adjusted? But no, why did you choose that language versus, the other, way that maybe a professional organizer may um describe
right.
their services? I think that's phenomenal.
I think it's a much safer word than purging. Sounds like you're going to throw up. I think that's not a very polite word. I think I just, no, doesn't work for me. And I think it is like you're editing a document, so like you're refining your collection, your inventory, your home, your environment. You're not throwing things away. You're not tossing them out. You're not, I'm trying to think of other words that people use that I don't appreciate, but I feel like editing is like a very approachable, non-scary term to getting rid of shit.
Yeah. That is the truth. I just found that to be very fascinating. So I want to just have this loop, because you are an entrepreneur.
Mm,
You're in this space full time. You are taking risk daily to help us to become better. Putting on your consulting hat, what are some of the things that or barriers, if someone was to say, what, Shannon, knock knock, I need to have you, I want to follow in your footsteps, what are some of the challenges that you would help us to avoid in starting
mm.
a business? and some of the things that bring you immense joy.
Hmm, it's a great question. I think going back to 2019, when I started tidiness, I felt, now looking back, I spent so much time waiting for something to be perfect. I didn't launch the website because it wasn't perfect. My Even now, you'll see my social media engagement is sporadic because I don't think my posts are perfect. I I spent a very long time making just making edits and going, and just the spiral in my head that I can't launch until it's perfect. And I think I say this to a lot of people, just do it, just launch. It's never going to be perfect. 5 years in, you pull up my website, I want it to cringe because I find 17 edits that should be should be made. So first, if you're looking to start anything, just start, just do it. Um, Nothing will ever be perfect, and that's okay. That's part of the journey. Um, I felt very isolated in the beginning, and it really truly wasn't until 10 KSB that I felt like I had a real community. But I would also suggest whoever is looking to start a business or be in professional organizing or anything is to just find a mentor or a friend, a community, anyone to just talk to who's done this, who's built a business and can just, hear you. Um, and I feel like I spent a lot of time analyzing the competition. Of course, that is helpful to do in the beginning. You need to do your competitive analysis and see who's in the market, and if the market's saturated and all those terms, blah blah blah. But I would obsess over the competition. And what am I doing? Why would I start a business if there's three more down the street? And I feel like that really made me pause when I think I should have, or I guess I shouldn't say the word should. Um, I wish that I had the confidence to just know that I had something great to offer and I didn't need to compare myself to the competition. What was your second question? What makes me so happy?
What brings you immense joy? About what are you that
Mhm.
you're engaged in right now? It doesn't have to be. You may tell me I don't have joy. This doesn't bring me joy, and that's your truth. But is there something that you can
Mm.
also share, through this process for those who may want to follow on your path?
I I have to say I'm one of those entrepreneurs that this really does bring me so much joy. And when we are working in spaces and a client's like, "Oh my God, I haven't found that. I've been thinking about that for 10 years. I can't believe you just found it." It's like I won the lottery. I jump around and we have like a whole high five game and like, "Oh my God, I won, points for me because I found this book that," um, that brings me so much joy. Also, when we leave, like that last moment when we're shutting the door of the space, and like I'm being so dramatic, it's never like that, like an HGTV show, but like when we leave, specifically in relocations, because moves are so terrible for most people, it is my absolute favorite thing to do. Out of all the services we provide, relocations I can do all day long. I love it. And so to be able to unpack that very last box and have the family come in to their unpacked home with food in the refrigerator and flowers on the table, and they have, I mean, yes, this is an incredible luxury to have, but um to have them walk into their brand new space and it is just, there's not a box in sight. I again feel like I just won the lottery. It makes me so happy. And then outside of tidiness, when I can practice yoga, I'm just the happiest. And I just yesterday completed my yin yoga teacher training, and I just I it makes me so happy. And I'm really trying to work on my time management skills, which is comical because I also do that for for clients. But if I can work on my own and factor in time for yoga, I think I will just be a much better human and business owner and organizer.
So let me tell you again, Shannon is a part of my community. And I remember, being in class during those 14 weeks. I'm going to emphasize this because this is a moment in time that I will never forget.
Uh-oh.
Shannon, we were doing our final presentations. And I remember we did like a prep meeting. And Shannon went first because she had to leave. So we were like, we didn't care about order, but she did go first. I remember seeing her presentation. Now, we sat together in different opportunities, but I would just remember seeing her presentation and being in awe. Because Shannon just said, "I'm trying to be a good human." Shannon is a good human. She's a good human, but also has a skill set that made us all want to get our shit together for our presentation. And so, it was like, and I'm saying to myself, and I said it, I was like, shit, I'm glad I didn't go first because, it'd have been like, a 3-year-old presentation that I was like a kid's presentation because we were putting stuff together, like going, oh, but no, Shannon came to the table. She was prepared. Her presentation was easy to read. And a lot of us modeled our presentations after what she did. And so in this space of, a community, um, Shannon had showed us in spite of all the craziness that in the self-talk that we all have experienced, and we're even experiencing at that moment, about being courageous and always showing up and doing our best. And so what I learned from tidiness is that we all got stuff that we have to deal with. We all are continually learning on this journey. And it's about our willingness to unpack the clutter for greater success. So, Shannon, I am so excited to have had you come today, and to share just, this is just a sprinkle. We're not going to be on here for hours and hours. You'll have to be a part of the cohort mixed mingles to have those type of conversations. But, having, Shannon as a part of my crew is amazing. And it could not have come at a better time because I was longing for that, to have like a network of like-minded individuals who comes from a variety of different industries, but we share something similar, is that we are business owners and we're creating the life and journey that we want. So, Shannon,
Beautiful. Yes.
you are awesome, amazing. Thank you for coming.
Thank
And
you.
you know what I'm going to say, folks who are watching us and who are listening, check out tidiness.com. It is really important for you to think through what the impact of supporting another small business. I'm also going to, plug the website, which again,
That's not my closet, just to be clear.
that's not closets. That is someone's closet, and it is beautiful and an
Thank
example of the possibilities. And with Tidiness, they are creating sustainable solutions for long-term organization, but also helping us overall to get better mentally. So even though Shannon is not a licensed therapist, it just so happens to happen at times.
you. Thank you so much.
You are awesome and welcome anytime to come back to share the madness with us. So
I can talk about this all day long, so thank you.
we love you, Shannon. Thank you so much for joining us today. And again, please do not hesitate. Check out tidiness.com. Also, do not forget to like, share, and follow Tidiness on the social platforms. Shannon and her team are there. And support, don't be spammy. Bye, Shannon.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Thank you.
So there you have it, right? Cohort 40 making deep waves. And it's really, really amazing to see, how Shannon's business has grown and scaled and is continuing to grow, but also she is willing to help us all through the process. And just some quick gems, because I don't want this to be overlooked. A lot of times when we're in this space, we are, trying to figure out, who we can connect with, what we need. But one of the things that Shannon elevated, I'm just going to highlight, just start. Nothing will be perfect. Nothing will be perfect. Find a mentor or a community of like-minded individuals, and do not become obsessed about your competitors. We go to the supermarket often, and whenever you go to the supermarket, there are Granny Smith apples. There are tons. They're organic. You got, what's the other one? Honeycrisp. They're all over the place, but they're not just one apple. When you go down the bread aisle, forget about it, right? Forget about it. It's gluten free. You got, um, ones that have like extra protein in it, extra grains. And guess what? When you go down the aisle, it's in the bread aisle, and it's lined up all next to one another. Different companies, different competitors are there. And so, as Shannon mentioned, just start. What are you waiting for? So what, someone has, a cleaning business, 2 doors down, but they don't have you, they don't have your specific offerings and skill set. And the beauty about, understanding that specific space, that if you don't start, someone else will, and you'll be out of the game. So just start. So I really appreciate, just sharing those tidbits that were mentioned. But also, again, I'm going to share tidynest.com. Check them out, even if it's just for a consultation, just to kind of figure out, how you can help them, one, and also them help you, in order to help you to become uncluttered, decluttered. What was the word that Shannon used? Editing. That's what I love. Your space. Wanted to also share this because we are in the space of sharing information and resources before I log off. Oftentimes when you may not be ready for the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program, because there are criterias for you to enter in the program, and it is pretty competitive. But if you are looking for additional networks and resources as well, throughout the state of New York, because we are New York-based businesses, but we work all over. There are a number of chambers of commerce that can help to support you and your business, and does provide another outlet or a resource for you to connect with other business owners, like-minded as well. So we have all the chambers of commerce. They're in Queens, they're in the city. We have in the upstate market as well, downstate market. So check them out. This is not paid advertisement. I just want to say that, because a lot of times, folks are thinking you see something, but this is really about connecting resources to those who are in business. Something I wish I had immediately when I started. Had I known that these specific spaces existed, then my business would have been, a lot grown a lot faster. So I just wanted to share that as a way for you to get connected. Also, this is not a shameless plug. I am in business. And so if you are looking for our services at 11375, we do have 718-691-8966. We do answer the phone. You can reach out to us on our social media platforms, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and we will air these shows via our podcast outlets and also on YouTube as well. So again, 11375, we are here to support you and provide you with resources and information. So on that note, friends, you are welcome, and thank you for riding with this journey. I am so happy that Shannon was able to take her time out of her schedule to talk about some of the work and making us better in life, and helping us to be free of the things that we may or we may not need. And so check out tidynest.com, check out 11375.com, and we will see you again soon. Thank you for joining. Bye-bye. Welcome to 11375. My name is Anita Pierce, and I am your Chief Experience Officer. At 11375, we offer strategic alignment, solutions specific to you and your business goals, and also connecting everything with social impact. So if you are looking for a really amazing organization where we help you to focus your strategy and connecting it with social impact, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We are on all the social platforms, and you can contact us at 11375. This week, I've been thinking about the importance of social impact and what that looks like specifically for the 11375 family. Social impact for 11375 is not just something that we don't do. It's embedded in our DNA. It's a part of our business model. We think and believe that it's really important to combine the art of making money and also being able to connect those specific resources to communities or things that elevate and provide good for the greater good. So for us, it is important that for the success of each project that we include social impact.